our judges, respected teachers, and my fellow friends. I, Tiara Bondari, stand here to allocate the book Arusha and the Nectar of Immortality, Chapter 1. All wonders aren't lost. Kara's very first reaction when she entered the labyrinth, which hid the nectar of immortality, was, well, disappointment. She imagined it would look like something out of the fairy tale, treated over and over again until the book's spines had split down the middle.
Story on the title, The Brave Little Goat. In a village located in the Himalayas, there lived a goat named Kuku with her family. One day, a huge storm rolled into the village, threatening to flood the entire village. Kuku, we need to do something, said her mother. The river's rising fast. I'll go warn the villagers, said Kuku bravely. I can swim across the river. Be careful, Kuku, said her father. The currents are strong.
Here to narrate a story on the topic, the four trees. Once upon a time in a village lived a poor farmer who planted 4 trees in his garden. 2 of them were tall and strong. The other 2 were small and weak. The tall trees, proud of their height, would often boast the smaller ones by saying, "Look, we are the tallest, we are the strongest trees in this garden." The smaller one would say, we may be small, but we are happy with what we have. As the time passed, the farmer took good care of them, watering them, giving them fertilizers, and taking their good care.
In a jiffy, little Billy had silently dropped on the flower bed below. In yet another jiffy, he was out through the garden gate. And in yet another jiffy, he was standing on the very edge of the big dark forest of sin. He had made it. He had got there. Now the forest was all his to explore. Was he nervous? What? Who said of being nervous? I am not in the least bit nervous, he said. Very, very slowly, he walked into a great forest of sin. Soon, giant trees were surrounding him. Their branches made it a solid roof high above his head. There was no sound at all. Nothing at all. When he ventured some distance into the forest, he stopped, stood quite still, listening. He could hear nothing at all. From a far distance, there came a very faint, whooshing, whistling noise like a gusty wind passing through the trees. He stopped. He flicked around into the everlasting gloom and doom of the forest. There it was, no mistaking at this time. Little Billy turned and ran. It was growing louder and louder every single second. Suddenly, it was no longer a wind. It was a fearsome, whooshing, whistling noise of a gigantic creature breathing through its nose heavily, and it galloped towards him. Thank you.
Great narrating.
Imagine 2 types of people. One has a perfect smile but a cold heart. They walk past a hungry child, do not make their expensive clothes dirty. Is that really a beauty? No, it's not. Let's imagine the second person. She does not wear any jewelry or any expensive clothes, but she has a kind heart.
And I'm a great citizen Bushi, here on the stage to tell a short story on the title of The Wise Donkey. Once there was a donkey named Dinky. Everyone laughed at the donkey and said, "Ha ha, what a silly donkey this is." One day, his master put many heavy sacks on Dinku's back. Dinku looked at his back and said, quite a lot for me, and sat down on the middle of the road.
And move forward for great achievements. But in this process, we might fail or succeed. But still, we should never give up. We know that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Success is an achievement, be it small or big. We should be inspired by every small achievement to gain bigger ones. Let me start with a small story of a clever donkey. Once upon a time, a wealthy farmer was going to his farm with one of his old donkeys. On the way, the donkey accidentally slipped.
In a village, a wise old man was known for his understanding of life. One day, a young boy decided to test him with a trick involving a bird hidden in his hand. The boy planned to ask if the bird in his hand was alive or dead, intending to make the old man wrong regardless of his answer. If the old man said alive, the boy would kill it, and if the old man said dead, the boy would release it.
There lived a boy named Arav who believed his voice does not matter. He stayed quiet while others spoke. Suddenly one day he saw the river near his town full of waste. Everyone noticed, but no one acted. When he reached there, encouraged Arav, saying that Arav, speak about it in the school assembly. Arav nodded his head, saying,
and his school uniform was faded. But he had a bright dream in his heart. One rainy day, a rich boy in a shiny car stopped beside him. The boy laughed and said, "Why do you come to school looking like that? Don't you feel shame?" Michael smiled and said, "I come to school because it doesn't look at my torn shoes, it looks at hard work."
A girl named Rachel. She was 14 years old and she was very kind, understanding, and mature. She was ambiverted too. One day, it was her birthday and she was turning 15 years old. She got various new gifts such as new shoes, new bags, new dresses, and she was happy but not quite because she didn't get her wish list completed. Later that day, her mom found her crying and asked, "Why are you crying, honey?" "Because everything I got is something I already have," said Rachel. As her mom saw her in this state, she decided to take Rachel to the park. As they reached the park, Rachel asked, "What are we doing here, Mom? Why do we have to be here?" "You'll see," said her mom with a calm voice. As they walked through the park, they saw various homeless people out on the streets begging for things that she already had. Only then did Rachel realize how many things she took for granted. She soon apologized to her mother and even donated some of her stuff to the homeless. The moral of the story is, sometimes maybe the other people aren't the problem. Your way of thinking is. Thank you.
Sat quietly on her bed, her phone glowing in the dark room. The last message she had sent, "Are you okay?" was still there, unanswered. She watched the screen as if it might change. She checked the time every few minutes, hoping to see the typing dots to appear. Mia opened
An original story made by me. In Chicago, in a busy street, there was a girl named Addie going to her on Sunday dinner as usual. She was riding in a bus after her car got towed on Fifth Street. Suddenly, when she was a few blocks away from her aunt's house, a tall man with a freckle on his nose snatched her necklace, almost ripping it. She tried to get it back, but he had already ran away. Her aunt came looking for her.
Once in a kingdom, there was a king who was very famous for his kindness. He helped everyone at trouble. He was kind not only to the humans but also to the animals and plants. One day the god planned to test him.
My name is Rohan Kaisa and I'm from grade 6 Dudhposi. I'm going to talk about the story named Beauty and the Beast. Once there was a merchant who lived with his 3 daughters. He had to go to the city for some work, and then he decided to ask his 3 daughters if they wanted something. The oldest daughter replied with, "Yes, yes, I want a silk dress." The merchant said, "Sure, I'll try," and then proceeded to the next daughter. The next daughter said the same, and the next daughter said she wanted some pearl earrings, and that's it. And the merchant said, "I'll try again," And he finally proceeded to the most young and beautiful daughter. He asked her what she wanted. She replied with just some roses, and the merchantman happily replied with, "I'll get them for you," and then began his journey. He went to a beautiful patch of roses for his youngest daughter. He was starting to pick the roses off from them, and then suddenly a huge beast came scaring him. The beast said, "Why are you in my land?" The merchant was scared and sturdily replied with, I was here for the roses because I need to give my daughter some." The beast was angry that the merchant was taking his roses from his flower garden, and then said to the merchant to give him his daughter and make him marry him. The merchantman said, Sure, and then went to his house. The next day he sent his daughter after he said what the situation was happening, and then the daughter began the journey to his house and then marry him. A few months later, the daughter said to the beast he missed his father and he wanted to meet him. The beast said, "Sure, go." And then the daughter went to the father's house again. And then the father said, "Never go there again." And the beast got sick and died. Thank you.
Now I would like to call Rudraksh.
There was a boy named Ravi. He belonged from a poor family. One afternoon, he was going home from the school. He saw a shiny thing in the road. He picked up it carefully. It was a wallet. Inside, there was some money and a small ID card. For once, he thought, should I keep it? But he remembered what his father had told. His father had
On the stage. Her hands trembled as she wished the bell would ring again so she could run away. As she waited, she watched the old school bell hanging near the stage. When the bell was pulled, it shook, but clearly rang. Suddenly, she heard a small voice from behind saying, "Ria, you can do it." Ria took a deep breath and stepped forward. Her voice shook at first, but soon her words became strong. As her speech ended, the hall filled with applause. She smiled.
Today I'm going to narrate a story. The title of my story is The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. Plop was a baby barn owl who lived with his mommy and daddy on top of a tall tree in a field. Plop was fat and fluffy. He had enormous round eyes and he had a heart-shaped ruff. Plop was perfect in every way except for one thing. He was afraid of the dark. Owls can't be afraid of the dark.
Give up, the dog found a meat shop. He said, "Oh, thank God. I was about to die with hunger."
Sophie lived in a small house at the edge of the Whispering Woods. She was a curious girl who loved exploring her attic. One rainy afternoon, she discovered a silver key and a map. The map showed a path leading deep into the woods to a spot marked with a golden star titled The Heart of the Forest. The next day, Sophie set off under the woods. After walking for a while, she reached a hidden clearing. In the very center sat a mossy box with a tiny silver lock. She inserted the key with great excitement. With a soft click,